just going to resurface from last game that we will see again. But
Yeah,
that is the only one.
Exactly. Here is our draft. The Engineers on our blue side here in game number 1 of this best of 1. You can see the Kale, Zac, and Alawi bands. The spawn of LS banning away Pyke, Rengar, and Yasuo. Here's our picks in roll order coming out now. Engineers going for Sion, Kindred, and Vladimir as their top side. Whereas the spawn of LS opting for Cassante, Bel'Veth, and then this next pick could be one of two things. They could flex something that they've already picked. We'll have to wait and see which one gets locked in here before we can discuss. It looks like it will be the Gragas. Oh wait, no, it's going to be the Nico actually picked up in the mid lane, which kind of spoils the other pick. Gragas has already been locked in by them as well, but we're going to jump into the second ban phase now. You'll see Irelia taken off the board with the next ban waiting to come in from the Engineers.
Yeah, Irelia, and then meanwhile, for the side of Engineers, they're going to go ahead and take out that Morgana. So no Morgana in that support. You already know it was kind of spoiled a little bit, but it is going to be that Gragas. So I like the flex from spawn of LS. You know, they're really, taking in the heart, LS. LS is big into flex picks and whatnot, and they're flexing some things around, making things a little bit weird to play around. But I mean, it's pretty hard to play around the Samira Nautilus in the bot lane. There is a lot of kill pressure, and Samira is the one character who I believe still has the most pentakills in the game.
Yeah, Samira is one that can get a lot of do a lot of damage, get a lot of work done throughout one match, and especially in this bot lane against the Ezreal and the Gragas support. Gragas support used to be a lot more popular. It's kind of fallen off in recent memory, but still an okay pick. Now that we've seen all 10 of these champions locked in, we can talk about where they were picked up. So the Engineers on blue side did pick up the Kindred on B1. It's seen a ton of prevalence recently with the buffs to Trinity Force. It's seen some play and some bans as well in the LCS across other regions as well. Ezreal and Gragas were picked up R1, R2 for the spawn of LS. They also grabbed the Cassante on R3. The Engineers picked up the Samira and the Nautilus in that first rotation as well. They grabbed their solo lanes, second rotation. The spawn of LS actually holding that Bel'Veth until R5. They hold their counter pick all the way for their jungler, securing the Bel'Veth for him. So certainly an interesting pickup. Don't oftentimes see the jungler get that R5 counter pick, but when you invest that into the Bel'Veth in the jungle, who isn't super prevalent but has seen some play across a couple of regions, you're expecting a decent amount to come out from your jungler.
Yeah, and I think they were also holding it for R5 just because of that Gragas flex that they had. Didn't know if they wanted to throw it into support or not. So I did like that, able to hold that, but it's a little weird holding a counter pick, flex pick for jungle support. Normally you see it either top jungle or top mid. Usually you don't see the flex for support jungle.
Yeah, definitely not. Certainly something that is possible. We're going to see it here in this one, but not something you see super often. Do have some pretty standard picks here across this one. I already talked about the Kindred. Sion, incredibly prevalent as well. Same with Cassante. Kindred bumping up in prevalency a little bit more. Samira's never really gotten a ton of play in competitive at the highest levels, but has seen some more prevalence. And I don't know. I think she still has the Duskblade interaction that everybody's been complaining about since the item changes. I'm not 100% sure. We'll have to see.
Still as well.
I believe she does. Can still go invulnerable while in that ult channel, which is a little frustrating to deal with. But we'll have to see how things go. I am excited. We don't have double enchanter this game. Should see some more action across the bot lane and even across the rest of the map with both these supports having the ability to roam and influence the mid, top, and even their jungler if they want to.
One thing I'm excited about is Nico. We've seen Nico a little bit in across the regions. She's so funny when going to be a Skyre's Bloom, and then someone walks up, and then out comes the Nico Pop Blossom. It's always funny. I always like seeing the kind of tricks you can do with the four caster minions in the wave.
So yeah, that's what I mean. The Engineers, they got to make sure that they're on top of their map.
You got to count your minions.
Always got to count your minions. Yeah, I mean, I think the Nico's a great pick. It's almost pick ban across every region right now. Incredibly strong. That one snuck through into the second rotation for the spawn of LS and can do a lot of funny things. Like we already mentioned, can turn into practically every targetable entity except for I guess a tower.
Towers
now,
and neutral.
yeah, and like the dragons and stuff. But
Dragon Baron. No Baron.
None of those, which would be funny, but you get
No, it
ganked by
would be.
Baron. That'd be good.
Oh man.
Unfortunately, not yet. Maybe next patch, we'll see.
Yeah. Well,
But in this one, we'll have to see how these mid laners interact with one another. I imagine we'll see the Nico try and get out across and impact the map. Could probably see the Nico run with the jungler, go into the bot lane, try to influence things. Vladimir, of course, wants to sit back and scale, get to about 2-3 items. Same with the Scion, he just wants to farm. But the Cassante can be a pretty good counter to that, doing a decent amount of damage into the tank. They did pick that one up pretty early in that first rotation, so we'll have to see. Clearly, it's something they're comfortable on, and of course, in a pretty tough matchup, just in the nature of the difference of the ranks, like we've already talked about. But still, I mean, if you give yourself the chance to win with things you're comfortable on or things you know how to execute, you're always going to be in the running for it. We've seen these drafts now. We've broken them down across pretty much everything with the exception of a few things. K9, what are you thinking here in terms of just strictly on the drafts? Which one you prefer?
Strictly on the drafts, I think I gotta go give it to engineers. I think they have better scaling. They have better team fight, cohesion overall with, the Vlad, Samira, Kindred, Nautilus on. I think they have a lot of engaged tools. They have a lot of disengage as well. They have a lot to work with and a lot of different people who can carry the team on their back. As we get into game right now, looks like we might see a little bit of a funky invade here.
Yeah, we got a 5-stack coming out from the spawn of LS. Unfortunately, Gragas did not buy any items, but that's okay. Hopefully he'll get them eventually, but just somewhat of a stack here on the side of the engineers. They've got 3 members hovering up near their own red buff, and some recalls being channeled. Everyone just hanging out. Won't find much. I believe that's Gragas recalling. I hope. Hopefully he'll buy a support item.
Yes, it is Gragas recalling. Yep, there it is. Finally,
there we go.
First item purchase of the game for Gragas at over a minute. Good thing there was no invade. And Gragas didn't have an item for that.
I've been a little cursed, but it's okay. Yeah, everything will work out just fine. We'll see where these junglers we're starting. It'll be a similar story as our first best of one of the day, a little over an hour ago or so. We're junglers starting on opposite sides of the map, both getting a leash, however, so we'll see how things will play out for them starting on opposite ends. But I would say I certainly am concerned for the side of the spawn of LS when you have someone who's around that Diamond Master Tier Elo on a champ like Kindred. It's another one of those champs that can snowball really, really hard, and with these changes can also invade incredibly easily. So you can already see Cyrillic just walking over to the blue buff.
Yeah, speaking of the invade, they get the information that, hey, Bel'Veth is on the red buff. Bel'Veth cannot fight a Kindred early on, because Bel'Veth gets a little bit low, and Kindred can fight very easily in these early skirmishes, and because of that, it's going to be a free farm fest on the bot side, and I don't think Bel'Veth is going to know that this is happening. Good hook.
Double Glacial Augment. Exhaust already going down really early from Simon Lover down onto God Prophets. So trade of Summoner Spells, or just a Summoner Spell here in this one, and don't have to give up anything for it, as God Prophets and Painful Remorse can really easily look for these angles now with no exhaust on the board. I want to say that Cyrillic grabbed away the blue buff and the Gromp, did get both of those camps. Another hook lands onto Tipsy Bartender, and a ton of damage coming down, but not enough to find anything lethal just yet, and Cyrillic will go back to farming his own side of the jungle.
And now Zedos is finding out the very terrible fate that befell Gromp and blue buff, as that Scryer's Blue Moon as well will give away the position. And Cyrillic, 3 more camps to clear on the top side, and Zedos is going to try to find anything, because there's nothing for that Bel'Veth to do right now other than to try to force a gank, or maybe pray that the Kindred left open camp, and I think it's just going to be this gank, but
On a ward.
on a ward.
Unfortunately, yeah, I mean, Zedos could have potentially looked for the Krugs, but I don't think they've seen Cyrillic show on map yet, so they don't know that he has not cleared all of those camps and did not grab those Krugs on that first rotation just yet. So for now, it'll just be a 2-camp lead here for the Kindred. And now some pretty aggressive trading as IG Ying goes fairly low here, trading heavily with Potato. Flash forward as Ying could drop to the Ignite. It's a first blood for the Nico. Potato securing that 400 gold for the spawn of LS.
I mean, that's what we're talking about. You know, the Gold 4 brand versus Faker.
Instant flash
And
forward from
Cyrillic.
Cyrillic. Has another jump. Trying to grab something onto Potato. He doesn't really have anywhere to go, but lands the root and quite a bit of damage as well. Cyrillic, he's in trouble. He's got his 80 support, there with a nice hook, and Cyrillic going to secure that one on back. Unfortunately for the Vladimir, he popped the Ghost to try to get something, but did not get kill participation on that one.
Very unfortunate. Gets a mark as well for Kindred, but not going to get that scuttle mark. Instead, Zito should be able to pick that up unless Kindred and Vlad start making a beeline, which they are, but I think it's going to be a little bit...
I think it's already dead.
late?
Oh, wait, no, it was already grabbed by
Actually-
Kindred. It was on the right side of the river.
Yeah, so Kindred able to pick up another mark. Kindred needs 4 marks to start getting things going, and then it's 3 after that, so halfway to that first upgrade, which is a big upgrade for Kindred, plus 75 range, plus a lot more damage from all of the abilities.
Yeah, it is a very important thing to watch, those Kindred marks, and once you get to 4 especially, you get up to numbers like 7, it does a lot. It's a big change to the champ, so important to watch what Cyrillic is able to do in securing these marks, and especially with a champ like Nautilus, as one hook lands on a Tipsy Bartender, no mana left for the Gragas, forces out his flash, so a trade of summoner spells, Ignite for flash. And the Engineers, they just keep winning out on these trades down here in the bot lane.
Yeah, but I will say, LS is up a little bit of gold right now. They do have
A
the
little.
gold lead.
Oh,
The
Cyrillic
mid lane.
could be in trouble. Tipsy Bartender has no mana, uses the
Oh, but
E,
then
but
this
not
is
able
gonna
to
be a
find it.
solo
Flash
kill.
forward! And now Tipsy Bartender goes down to Painful Remorse. They're not able to find the kill on Thazitos, but will continue to chase down on to sign a level or double knockup. Should deter them to get on out of there. I don't think they got the camp. There goes the Pop Blossom. It'll only land onto Painful Remorse, but the root will go down onto Cyrillic. So that's another kill for the Nico, but that's all she wrote. They're still up a little bit of gold, right about the same, as it'll just be a kill apiece for both sides.
Yeah, 1 for 1. But again, Kindred gets another mark. That mark was on Tipsy Bartender. And they're able to pick up their 3rd. I don't believe they got the Gromp, though. So that
I don't think so.
could have been bad. That could have been 4 marks already at the 6-minute mark. 7 minutes, which is pretty early to get that upgrade. But not just yet. As First Dragon is also going to have been spawned now, and it's going to be Mountain. No Mountain Soul on the table this game.
Now, won't
And both
have...
teams gonna go back to farming for a little bit.
Yeah, not too big of a surprise. Both junglers still sitting at level 5, as all our solo laners hit level 6, level 7. Hexflash won't find its mark there from the Nautilus. The top lane hasn't seen a ton of action here just yet. It's pretty much just the trading of grass procs like you see, but the grass procs are a little more favored to the Scion, who is down a decent chunk of farm here, about 9 so far in this one, and a farm lead as well for Potato. Gonna see some more aggressive trading as the all-out comes down, looking for its wasted. He does still have access to the Unstoppable Onslaught, but not opting to use it yet. We'll get a nice knockup back, but is taken pretty low, and Zetos is here as well, has the Unstoppable Onslaught, and just makes it out. Great timing to not get knocked up by the Belveth. W stays alive just barely and has access to the TP to come back to the lane as well.
Yeah, and also saves that flash as well, so both summoner spells are kept, but that is a fairly big ultimate that's going to be down for about 2 minutes here. And all out, almost able to pick up a kill on the top lane. Belveth Zetos trying to help out, but not going to help out enough this time, as bot lane is now struggling incredibly. This looks like Engineers are going to try to freeze this.
Yeah, I mean, they can do pretty much anything. They have so much control. They know the engage is always going to be in favor of them with this Nautilus. It's level 6 on the Samira. Hook goes just a bit wide. Cannot find the angle. Tipsy Bartender hits 6 right about the same time as his AD carry sign-on. Lover, the exhaust is back up for the Ezreal, which is important for their engage, but still pretty rough. You can see the CS decently in advantage for God Prophets, and he's got a bigger wave crashing into him as well.
Yeah, so pretty big wave crashing in. Mark on the Raptors, but going to be easily picked up here by Zito, so Kindred kept away from that 4th level mark, picked up, but gonna instead trade it for the Dragon, as already Kindred's gonna be on to that Dragon, and that one at Nautilus heading over. It's gonna be pretty free pickup here.
Yeah, Mountain Drake, I mean any of the Drakes now at this point, after those buffs, which were really quite a long time ago, any of those first Drakes are gonna feel pretty good for them all in the lane, but that'll be the first one picked up pretty late. 9:43 is the timer for your first Dragon. We'll have to see what that next one is and what it spawns. But so far, not a ton of action here across the Rift. We've seen a little bit down in the bot lane and in the mid lane, of course, as well. But lots of individuals just wanting to keep on scaling up here, as we've seen some engages in the bot lane, but have not resulted in anything in terms of gold just yet.
Yeah, but it looks like Zetos is going to try to look for something for possibly a lane gank. There is level 6 on Tipsy Bartender.
Hook lands. God Prophet with some great control. Will get knocked up. And a nice ulti back from the Gragas. Forces the flash out of God Prophet. So there should be a dead Nautilus almost certainly as that one goes down to the Ezreal. Great ulti. Lamb's Respite comes down as here goes the Samira as well. But Zito's going to pick that one up. Has another reset. Cyrillic taken very low but not taken out just yet. The Nico and the Vlad have both moved down, but to no one's avail as it's just 2 kills going over to the spawn of LS. Doing great work here as Matchsetter also doing a ton of damage to the Scion, just not enough in terms of lethal damage, and no all-out available for the Cassante. Look for the cancel, won't get it just yet.
Really well played there by Tipsy Bartender.
Yeah, very cool.
Holding that explosive cast until after the Samira, wind wall is used to pull both of them back into the team. Is
Matchsetter's gonna get executed. Unlucky. At least it wasn't a kill.
That is true. It's not a kill. It is only an execute. Faster recall.
Painful Remorse has made his way up to the top side with Zetos trying to force him off. It is a mark for the Kindred, and I believe the 4th of the game, and they might just keep on chasing. As you can see, the mark is on that Belveth, but they're not going to find what they're looking for anytime soon. You can see the Trinity Force already picked up for this Kindred. Cyrilix is very, very strong here in this one.
Yeah, definitely very strong, but after that bot lane play, so is the Belveth and the Ezreal. They're able to get some kills, and the hook lands right into a minion. Potato Pooper is A-okay for the time being.
So far, so good for...
Things are looking pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, what's to be expected? I could have, thought of maybe we would have seen some more action out of the bot lane here for the Engineers, but the bot lane plays have all seemed to be favored to the spawn of LS here in this one, and Matchsetter doing some aggressive trading here, but an item's already been finished by the Scion. He saw Zados make his way up there, and he was forced to use that Unstoppable Onslaught out, but he's just going to walk on right back up, and now having seen the Belveth on the top side of the map, looks like he's just going to skip over that red buff, and you can see Nico turning into Belveth. Cyrillic could be in some trouble with a Pop Blossom available. Will get the mark, but will certainly lose his life for it as well, as he will go down to Zetos. Trade your mark for your life. Give another kill over to the Belveth. Not exactly what you're hoping for, but I guess you get another camp away from the enemy jungler.
And you do get a mark, so that's going to be, I'm assuming 5 right now. I
believe so.
That's for sure, but this might just be a solo kill on the top lane.
Or change your Vogus back down bot as the Glacial Augment. Doing a little bit of work, but Tipsy Bartender able to just body slam his way on out to safety. And it's wasted. Seems to be in pretty decent control up here in the top lane. You can see that item already finished, the Sunfire doing a ton of work. A nice hook goes down onto the Gragas. The depth charge used as well. No flash available.
Whoa,
Another great ulti from Tipsy Bartender. And God Prophets just cannot find the angle. Match Center will knock the Scion into tower range. It's going to be another trade of grasp procs there. And, I mean, this Gragas is doing so much work in the bot lane to keep himself and his AD carry alive. But another hook will land, and this one will certainly mean death as God Prophets picks up his first of the game.
There's going to be the first one. It looked really good. That was an incredibly timed barrel, able to throw God Prophets into the tower, forces the flash out, but now Sidon Lover.
Oh, the hook lands, but the E away. Cyrillic does have access to the Lamb's Respite if he needs it. He will instead let God Prophets die as Sidon Lover picks up that one, as well as getting the Trinity Force for himself in base, picking up that kill.
I think you could have saved God Prophets there. I mean, if you throw the Lamb's Respite down, you're out of turret range at the very maximum there, so you should be fine.
I think it's wasted is trying to wait on this ult CD. Gets the stun onto Zedos. There's no more CC left as he flashes away from the Cassante, and he's tanking lots of autos. He's got another W shield, and he's fine. He's just going to walk on out. I think he's starting to walk back in for an auto, but a little bit of a freeze there as the second Drake will again be picked up. This one was a Hextech Dragon going over once more to the Engineers. Can't quite tell what soul it will be. We're waiting on the Rift to change. It'll be an Ocean Soul here in this one.
And Ocean Soul, pretty good for Vlad and Kindred. They both have innate healing in their kit. This gives you even more.
It'll be a different build here for the Samira. I know we were talking about the Duskblade interaction, but going for the Gale Force instead. Not something I've seen very often, but does give you some execute damage at the very least. Cyrillic is going to take some damage here from this Gragas, and the True Shot Barrage will go a bit wide. They might be out of CC, but the Pop Blossom into the Flash, securing it onto Cyrillic with the Lamb's Respite, keeping him alive, at least for the moment. Painful Remorse trying to get in. Here goes the Samira as well. Has the Inferno Trigger doing so much damage. Cannot find the kill just yet. Cyrillic gets one, as well as God Prophets, and now it's the Samira show. Double kill, flash forward, make it 3, as God Prophets gets his mark. 3 kills for the Samira. The Gale Force on top of the Inferno Trigger doing so much work, and the gold lead was in favor of the spawn of LS, but not anymore as they turn that one around with 4 kills.
Yeah, that's Samira in a nutshell right there. Your fight's going really well. You're doing a lot. She gets her stacks, and then you just kind of watch as your health bars melt away in a big Katarina style. Vlad wasn't even there, I don't think. He was just sitting mid lane clearing his waves.
Here comes the All Out now, looking for... It's wasted, but does not have the knockback from Q just yet. But there he goes, and the Jack Show draining away as well. Just looking for a little bit more damage, but the Unstoppable Onslaught is available, but it's just wasted. He just sidestepped it, doing such a good job of withholding these important skills, but it won't matter as Match Setter gets that one. Nice interaction there. Waits for him to start charging that Q, dashes forward, and grabs the solo kill.
Yeah, I don't think it's wasted. Was it really expecting that damage to come out? Underestimating Match Setter, and I think Match Setter might have overestimated himself as he stays just a little bit too long.
He used both of his dashes and his flash, but the Gale Force gets the job done. God Prophets goes on a rampage.
And that's another mark for Kindred. Gotta be what, like 7 now? 8 maybe?
Close, yeah. It's definitely above 6. We might be at 6. It's high. It's past the first mark for sure.
Definitely past the first mark. Kindred scaling. Samira on a rampage. Has 2 items. Has that collector finish now. And with this kill right here on the Rift Herald, gonna be another mark for Kindred. That's gonna be level 11. I'm pretty sure she's got to be at like 8 now. Because I don't think marks can spawn on Kindred, on neutral monsters, until you're at, I think, 6 or 7.
Yeah, I think you're right. So probably at 8, I believe.
Yes.
Regardless, Cyrillic is very, very far ahead. You can see the CS difference as well, probably approaching that second item. They did just grab this Rift Herald. I don't think the first one. I think this is the first one of the game.
This is
so
the first one.
Will not get any plates out of it, but with all Tier 1 towers falling in favor of the Engineers, could potentially see it dropped in one of these side lanes or maybe in the mid lane to open things up as well. But right now, IG Ying just forced to use that Rocket Belt away. Does not have to use any of his summoner spells, however, as this Vladimir still waiting to scale up. Does have the finished Rocket Belt, but not to that late game Vlad that has come to haunt the nightmares of many as Zetos looks for an angle but cannot find it on its wasted.
Yep. The late game Vlad is currently scaling. We've got the infinite scaling on technically Kindred and Scion. There's a lot of scaling here.
Certainly. Lots of options here for the Engineers, and even the spawn of LS. I mean, Nico and Ezreal scaling quite nicely. Same with the Bel'Veth. Match setter certainly holding his own up here in the side lane, looking for an angle onto IG Ying, but cannot find it, as the Vlad will continue to trade aggressively, but uses the pool to dodge out on that one. The matchup in the 1v1 is fairly close, as the Rift Herald will come down here in the bot side. We still haven't really seen any huge fights besides that one that got this Samira so far ahead. Waiting to see when this next one will come. I imagine it might be around this Drake Soul Point coming up for the Engineers in just a few moments, but the spawn of LS might be a little concerned to try and engage.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Mansetter just recalled there.
TP coming
Past
in.
the TP. Vlad does not have TP. Big note there. Is stuck on the top side of the map, so it's going to be a 4v5.
Cyrillic could be in trouble. He's kind of zoned away from the rest of his squad. Does have the ultimate available, and you mentioned it. It's a 5 versus 4, and Vlad not walking down. Here comes the unstoppable onslaught. Pop Blossom will go down onto 2. Lots of damage going in. The knockup comes out from 1. Potato will grab 1 for himself. God Prophets does get exhausted, but he picks up 1 in response. The Inferno Trigger, look at the dashes, look at the resets, but he will go down in the end. It's a double kill for the Samira, make it 3 instead. Match setter still alive, and it's wasted trying to do as much damage as he can. Gets 1 in response, but Cyrillic gets knocked up in the process. Silent Lover dashes out of the Lamb's Respite. Flash forward. It's wasted, gets the kill, and they don't even need the Vladimir. It's an ace for the Engineers in a 5 versus 4, and they only lose their bot lane.
It was close. It was, 2 for 2 at one point, or 2 for 3. But then, Match Setter and Silent Lover, they walk into the Scion queue, and that was the turning point of the fight. That's what gave Cyrillic and It's Wasted the opportunity to turn it right back around and pick up the last 2. So close, but God Prophets, with that Inferno Trigger, able to clean things up even if they do fall during the fight. Still, an easy dragon and an easy win for the side of Engineers.
Yeah, you can see their gold leads starting to balloon here, up about 6,000 gold at the approaching the 22-minute mark. You can see objective bounties starting to crop up for the spawn of LS as well, and the farm lead starting to grow across all these lanes. It's still pretty much even in the top side, but not the same story in the jungle. The mark is, however, on Baron, which is a little bit more of a commitment here for the Kindred, but could certainly see them try and play around this one. You can see all 5 members walking around, and they know that Tipsy Bartender and Silent Lover are in the bot lane. The Gragas finally starting to walk up. Match Setter will get spotted out by Painful Remorse, but this Baron is going down awfully quick, and below 3k HP, there's nothing they can do. Painful Remorse is just zoning away everyone else. Even if he loses his life, it's not a huge deal. He's got the flash available, and that's Baron picked up for the Engineers, and they might just look for the chase. Painful Remorse trying to find an angle. Will drop a ward at the very least, and the Vladimir on a flank will run right into Zetos. There goes the depth charge as the Kindred dashes on in. There goes that one as well. The knockup comes down onto many members still alive, but Cyrillic will finally go down. Watch Go Prophets looking for 1. We'll get 1 in response, but the Inferno Trigger gets cut down right away. The exhaust going down. It's a double kill already for the Samira. Another dash makes it 3. More resets coming down. Potato Pooper and Sign-On Lover still alive. The hook goes just a bit short as God Prophets picks up another 3, making it 12 on the day for the Samira.
I mean, I liked the play there from Match Setter. They pull the Kindred out of the ult, but
another hook lands, and the Nico is already fallen, and this will be an unofficial pentakill for God Prophets. He got those first 3, picks up the next 2, and It's Wasted uses his ability to just make it on in, and now these Nexus turrets are the point of contention for the Engineers. The only member left alive is this Gragas, and you can't say that for long, as it'll be another one for God Prophets. The Collector is certainly living up to its name. 15 kills for the Samira. One Nexus turret will fall, the other taken to about half HP, but now the Engineers will finally take their rewards. The Baron, all that gold they just got, secures them an even bigger lead than they had before, up 11k now.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes from bad to worse for the side of Spawn of LS. They lose the Baron, they lose the fight. Honestly, just a little questionable why the bot lane is down there, especially with Baron up. They have a Fed Samira, they have a Kindred, they definitely have the tools needed to burn that Baron down, and that's exactly what they do. And there's nothing that Spawn of LS can really do. They just watch it leave, watch it die on the ward. And because of that, the gold lead is just ballooning to 11k. You lose your Nexus tower. You're lucky you didn't lose the game just yet.
Yeah, we're going to lose the mid-tier one as well. This Drake should be spawning in a few minutes. Match setter trying to find an angle, but he's taking so much damage. Hook going to land on a Tipsy Bartender, and he's going to die before he can even press R. Another dash forward from God Prophets looking for something. All out, going to be popped, but it will not matter. Pop Blossom's going to do some work here with a 3-man knock-up into the stun, but Potato Pooper is going to go down as IG Ying gets his first of the game. They don't have a wave here in the mid lane, but they've got one coming in the top lane, and Baron buff still available. IG Ying looking for an angle here, doing a lot of work and healing up quite a bit as well. The Vladimir didn't have to do a whole lot this game. Is Samira doing most of the work as God Prophets grabs another 18 on the day. 18 out of 24 for the Engineers. Tipsy Bartender tries to find something. We'll get one with a nice knock-up as God Prophets also decides to walk on into the Nexus, and the rest of the Engineers are attempting to just farm up some of their KDAs as Tipsy Bartender will get 2. Now the Nexus is certainly going to be the focus as Match Setter dashes on in, and that'll be all she wrote. No soul needed for them. This one takes just a few minutes longer than our first best of one